Let's see if I have everything I need. Car keys? Okay. Driver's license? Okay. A banana? It's okay. And most importantly, it's a mushroom! Mamma mia!
Hello, it's me, Siron. Today I'm going to talk to you about Super Mario Kart. You know how Mario Kart is a worldwide phenomenon. It's one of the best multiplayer games to play with your friends both locally or via the internet. But locally it's funner because you can laugh together, and Mario Kart is all about doing silly things in a race. If you take it too seriously, you might get angry because it's very chaotic. The fact stands that Mario Kart is one of the biggest behemoths in multiplayer gaming. But how did it all start? It all started much more humbly, and at the same time, very bold. Its roots are on the Super Nintendo, when the technology was much simpler, and the developers had much more limitations to work with. I bet most people from the newest generation had never played it. But it's worth to know the game that started all those crazy races, because the franchise was fun from the start. I got myself a cartridge in Japanese when I was a kid, and I'm very glad that this game has short menus, because that way I could enjoy the game fully, even with the language barrier. Super Mario Kart was released in Japan in August of 1992, North America on September 1992, Europe on January of 1993, and it's worthwhile to say that Nintendo had already launched F-Zero, which is a hardcore game. It is more pointed out to hardcore gaming, and they wanted to make a racing game that was easier to pick up, and since F-Zero didn't have multiplayer, they added it on Mario Kart. So Mario Kart was filling the gap that F-Zero didn't. A more approachable game with multiplayer. Super Mario Kart was later re-released on Wii, Wii U, and the 3DS's Virtual Consoles, where you can get it today. The formula from Mario Kart hasn't changed much from this one. You accelerate, steer, jump, and hold the jump button to drift when you land. You can brake, but only cowards do that. Just kidding. And most importantly, you collect items and use them to your advantage in the match. Most staple items from the series were already introduced in this game. Here, there is no way for you to use two items at once. You can't hold bananas or shells behind you like in the sequels, but you can lay down a shell behind you though. The item boxes of this game are actually tiles on the floor that become permanently unusable for the rest of the race once a player uses each of them. Only by using all the tiles in the track, they will become usable again. In Super Mario Kart, the CPU racers do not collect items like the player. Instead, each character has a fixed item only they can have, and that they summon occasionally. Compared to most other games in the franchise, the karts here are much more slippery while doing curves, even with false drifting. That slipperiness makes the karts quite hard to maneuver, and it gets even worse in the ice courses. Actually, I'm under the impression that the surface material of each course affects how your kart steers, but I'm not sure. This game introduced the coin collecting mechanic that was taken out from most Mario Karts, but returned on the most recent one. The more coins you have, the higher will be your top speed. Another feature that this game had and only returned recently was the feather item, one of my favorites. It allows you to do a spin jump to avoid obstacles and other hazards, and also to take shortcuts. Here, races have 5 laps instead of the usual 3, and Grand Prixes have 5 races instead of the usual 4. This game contains 3 Grand Prixes on the go, plus a special one you get after getting gold cups in the first 3. Probably due to memory constraints, the courses on this game are much shorter than in the sequels. That justifies the higher amounts of laps in each one of them. But one thing can be said in defense of this game, in technical terms. Back then, in the 2D era, it was very hard to make a game that simulated death, but Super Mario Kart achieved that smoothly. If you're a fan of dual screen play like in Nintendo DS, there is something funny here. In single player, the top screen is always your normal view, whereas the bottom shows the map of the course with the racers' positions on them. You can press X to turn the map into a rear view. Sometimes the game does it by itself when it's relevant. Let's talk about the game modes. Single player Grand Prix. It's the common single player main mode. You get points according to your results in each race. And if you're the racer with most points by the end, you get the gold trophy. One thing that doesn't happen in the sequels is that here, if you are placed 5th or below in a race, you lose a life. If you run out of lives, it is game over and you have to restart the Grand Prix. You can get 1 extra life by placing in the same position 3 times. Single player time trial. In this mode, you run a course without items to get or CPUs to compete with. Your goal is to achieve a better time by yourself. Your top 5 high scores are recorded. There was no feature to race a ghost though. However, this is the only game mode where you can watch a replay of your performance. Multiplayer Grand Prix! It is like the single player mode, but you can play with a friend. Unfortunately, no team options were implemented this early in the franchise. Multiplayer 1 versus 1 match. Here, you can pick any course from any Grand Prix for each race without following any order. At the end of each dispute, the score of wins and losses of each contender is updated. Whoever lost the last race gets to choose the stage for the next one. Multiplayer battle! Yes! Balloon battles are as old as the franchise itself, and they were fun from the start. Too bad you can only play it on multiplayer since CPUs were never programmed to be in this mode, and since the Super Nintendo can naturally only have 2 controllers plugged in, all the battles are duels. This is a 2D game, which means all stages are playing, but they are very well designed anyway. There is a total of 4 stages to go into this mode, which is my personal favorite. Sometimes we can feel underwhelmed by looking at the roots of a franchise that has evolved a lot. But that's not the case with Mario Kart. Of course, if you care a lot about graphics, you'll see that Super Nintendo couldn't get near the power we have from today's machines. But in terms of gameplay mechanics and fun factor, we can say this franchise started with a boost. That is not to say that everything works well in this game, cause some stuff seriously don't. For instance, there are some moles that can stick to your face, greatly reducing your speed for a while, which are unnecessarily annoying more than anything. Makes me fucking mad when one of those bastards sticks to my cart. But nevertheless, It is also weird to see how they chose DK Jr. instead of DK to race here, but bear in mind that this game was released before Donkey Kong Country, in a time where the Donkey Kong character was still only a villain of the 8-bit era. Even if the maneuverability of the karts are quite frustrating at times, the chaotic beauty inherent to Mario Kart is able to make it an enjoyable experience in the end. But to be honest, if you dedicate a little time to it, the maneuverability of the karts becomes second nature soon enough. And that's why you should grab yourself a power mushroom, watch out for banana peels, and boost into Mario Kart! Yahoo! That's it, my friends! We are the gaming generation. We talk about everything gaming from retro to new. Subscribe to our YouTube for awesome gaming videos on a regular basis, and like us on Facebook for various gaming content such as memes, more videos, and even blog posts daily. I'm also Leo Siron. I have my own personal gameplay channel which is very crazy and fun as well. Besides talking about games, I am an artist. I am accepting commissions and I'd be glad to work for you. That's it for today, friends. For now, I should go now. A race is waiting for me. Bye bye.